Welcome to the North College Hill Rules and Public Policy meeting. I apologize that we are starting a wee bit late today. I believe we're 8 minutes behind schedule, so I apologize for that, for all you and our viewing audience. Did everybody receive a copy of the agenda this evening meeting?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. There's 3 items of legislation on the agenda, resolutions. And I kind of want to talk about, I'm not really sure. So I'm going to ask Ms. Zorb and Ms. Dewald, just based on your experience, we'll start with Resolution 2, 2023. You have an idea of what all of this is, like what these are?
Yes.
Typically, these are like for grass cutting, which is why I'm concerned why we're getting it now.
Well, it used to, I had them identified in the title, but I see now that it's gone back to the old title that doesn't tell you doodly squat. It used to say for grass cutting or tall grass or whatever the violation was. So yeah, now we don't know.
I believe, Madam Chair, Chief Schran probably didn't know which
Sure.
ordinance to pull, and he knows that this is coming up, so he probably just pulled
An old one.
what was familiar
Yeah.
to him.
I'd also like to point out on the second page, all the numbers still end with the year 2022.
Which
those-
ordinance?
The ordinance 2,
2, okay.
it's a 2-pager.
I had 3 ordinances with this packet, that's why I asked.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, do you have 2, 3, and 4?
so all of the second pages
Are incorrect,
are, yeah, haven't been updated.
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I understand that Mr. Graver did send this to me for us to talk about on the committee, I guess with the hope that we would get it to the council agenda. I'm not comfortable sending this to the council agenda, so I guess,
I would be.
huh?
I would be.
You are comfortable sending it to council agenda?
I am, from the perspective of, this is probably already very old.
Right,
Because if you read the very first whereas, it says tall grass and trash removal.
Madam,
And
do we
there-
know that that's the proper violation on the form?
right, but I would just like to know, like, for example, there's an assessment for this address on Catalpa, and I would like to know what that assessment is for. Like, is that for trash or is that for grass?
Correct. And if you'll notice, Madam Chair, may I?
Oh, no.
If
please
you'll
do.
notice that some of the addresses are duplicated, and that is not uncommon. So say, for instance, on Resolution 2, this might be for tall grass. Resolution 3, this one might be for trash. That's why you would see a duplicate address in there.
Okay, see,
No.
and I just,
Right, and
and now
number
I'm just
4,
now noticing that
Resolution
these
4 has also
duplicates.
duplicates, so.
This is not okay. And the reason I'm going to tell you that this is not okay is because I just received a letter from an attorney with a, huge error. I'm not going to call it a huge error, but with an error potentially based on something like this. So I would just like to make sure that we're doing this correctly. So I just need some more information, but I'll go along with what the group wants to do. What do you think?
How about,
Madam Chair, may I? So we could get the first reading out on this?
Okay,
That'll get it started, and then y'all can come back with a corrected copy. I don't want to say that it's insignificant, but we can certainly, we know the gist of it.
Okay.
And I think,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, can we at least get the second page, all the 2023s updated before we get to council floor, and we have to spend 20 minutes updating all those
I agree.
2022s to 2023s?
Yep, we can do that.
Madam Chair.
Sounds pretty minimal to.
So
think that's a
we
fair
we can,
request.
we can actually fix that before it goes on the council agenda, right? Okay.
I would like to see that part, yes.
Madam
Miss-
Chair.
Ms. Nichols has something, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor?
No, I just I just truly believe that he was trying to get it out based on trying to meet that, because we had a conversation about making sure everything was out with the deadlines that they needed to be met. And, but I agree with Ms. Dewald, if we could get it with the first reading and then try to get them, I'll contact him to say, hey, let's get the correct, send it over to the law director so we can get the correct dates.
Can I point out or question what deadlines? And I only say that because my taxes are due
any-
right now, so
That's what I'm
this
saying.
isn't gonna get paid until the
Any-
next,
Anything that
Till
the
the
city,
half.
that the city needs to get out to council, you know, how things renew every year. So I was just asking him to check into whatever,
okay,
to make sure we didn't have anything pending or anything that wasn't taken care of.
okay. I just didn't, I can't come up with a deadline that this would need to meet, that's what I was.
No,
Okay.
so I'm not sure where this fell or what he was thinking, but he did send an email and said he had some assessments that he needed to get to council.
Okay. So what I will do then is ask for the corrections on the second page of each, at least the date corrections. We'll go ahead and send it to the council floor for at least a first reading, and then maybe send it to Budget and Finance so we can get the more specific information about each address and remove the duplicates if there are any.
I would bet the duplicates are legitimate.
Well, I mean, if they are, that's fine. I would really just like to, I just want to pay closer attention to this kind of thing, that's all.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
thank you.
I apologize.
No, no problem. Can we just make sure that the nuisances are confirmed with him, that it is for tall grass and trash removal? I know that I had to mow my lawn in October, but just to make sure, that that's the correct nuisance that's listed there also.
Right, actually,
For-
that's exactly what I was really kind of talking about. Like, I really want more information about each address, like what specifically the nuisance was, when it occurred,
Yeah.
and what was done to abate the nuisance, so what the assessment actually applies to. So we don't have to include it, excuse me, necessarily include it on the legislation, but I would like to ask questions about each one.
I think it should be, because if someone questions our vote, we should have the proper nuisance on that paper that we vote on. That's what I'm trying to say is,
Oh, you want to include it on the resolution itself?
right, what I'm trying to say is this resolution, if we vote on it, it probably is tall grass. Like I said, I was mowing in October, but just to make sure that matches with the property, what the nuisance is. Just, dotting i's, crossing
Right.
t's. That's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
You mean, I'm sorry, so I can understand. You, on this first one, I won't say the street, but public record, 1836, you wanted to say, like another box in there that says tall grass? Or you just meaning in the
I
document?
just wanted to make sure that everybody on this, every address on this
Was either one tall grass or,
are trash.
which is
not
what you were saying,
Some
the other
other
one said.
nuisance, yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
Madam Chair, may I?
Before we vote
Yes.
on it, it has to be the correct nuisance.
I think the majority of these, that's all these are.
Okay.
Right, I think, I'll have to look at some of the old ones, but I think we actually were able to get them to put into the title, tall grass, what the violation was. So if that can be done, It would just be a big help. And maybe even, they could probably add another column or smoosh a column and give us a code for each one. So we would know what the code represents. I don't know how much work they want to put into it right now.
Okay, well, so I will send that to, I'll ask for the corrections, send that for a first reading, and then ask that it be referred to Budget and Finance so that we can kind of get more information. Is that fair enough?
I'm sorry, refer it to,
So refer to council for the first reading, and then refer to Budget and Finance to get more information on each address. That way we're not missing, we're not waiting a whole month to
Correct.
get it through. Okay, so the next thing on my agenda is goals for 2023. And I felt like maybe we could kind of talk about that together. Obviously, we probably need to do a careful review of the rules. Does anybody have anything else that you want me to include?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
if I may, facility use policy. That's-
okay,
We mothballed that while we were talking about budget.
okay. Facility use policy, okay. All righty, anything else?
Is this the correct meeting for code enforcement? Because my comment might be out of place, or maybe it needs to wait until the first council meeting.
Code enforcement. What about
Probably.
code enforcement? I mean, it's rules and public policy, so,
These two ladies are aware of it all. They know what I'm about to say. And this might go under other business for the main meeting, but at the last CIC meeting, some of the members would like for us to start adding a section in our online complaints or online requests for service, an area where we can document any property violations for landlords. So I'm not sure, but that was their request. And talking with Mrs. Clear, she thought it would be easier if the form that we currently use, I forgot the name of the software.
I don't remember off the top.
Yeah, if it could be updated to add that, a section in our service, city service forms. But they think that's very important.
okay, so
Start doing that.
to have somewhere on the website where tenants can have
Citizens,
complaints?
tenants,
Or just citizens about any other property?
When we complain, let's just say somebody's can's left out, or, trash, or or something's been dumped, they feel the need to add a section to that form that if someone's experiencing a problem with the property that they're renting, they want us to now start documenting that. However, I did tell them at the meeting that that would be up to either Chief Fells or Chief Schran, how they want to go about that if they choose to do that. But that was a large consensus discussion about that at our Thursday CIC meeting, that we should start documenting, since there's so many landlord violations and different things. And they're saying that the city, what's the gentleman from the Center from the Blind? I forgot his gentleman's name. Matt Shan says that the city has been doing this for over a decade, and he said it's very helpful to communities to start documenting that. It's not that we have to do anything at this point, but we should start documenting things like that.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
Yes.
And they were there, so they can fill you in more.
The consensus or the backbone of that conversation was the Predator rental company that owns several homes here that the city of Cincinnati is now suing. And the conversation was around, I'm sure Mr. Ikens has a list of what the complaints are, where they're from. Obviously, we're a smaller city than the city of Cincinnati. We don't have even half of the things that they have to enforce. So the idea was to begin to compile particular type of complaints from renters as it pertains to their property owners,
Okay.
the violations, in order to say, to do the same thing, possibly.
Okay.
Maybe,
Now, how do we, well, is there any kind of idea about how we let citizens know that that new form would be available for them to go out?
I
Because
think,
for them to kind of access it on the website.
it would be a combination of things. It would be that, and it would be whatever our code enforcement gets, because we do have certain rights as a city. If you don't have water, if you don't have heat, those are things that we can go in. We can't go in for other things like your house. Well, you could go in if the house is dirty, but certain things we can't enforce, can't go in. So those are the type of violations that we're looking for when they're outright
Okay.
not taking care of the property, outright not providing water, heat when they're responsible for it.
Okay.
So those are the things that we were looking to try to compile in order to help build a case against those particular renters who are not taking care of their
properties.
property.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a documenting type phase, because we need to start documenting, and then I'm thinking somehow, even if the resident files the complaint to our system, we're still, somehow they need to know we're in a documenting phase, and it, you know what I mean? It's, I don't want them to think that just because they fill out that form, oh, we're gonna,
Some things we might have to take action on.
yeah,
Just depending on the severity of it and depending on,
yes.
actually what it is, we may have to take action on it. But again, if we get more of those things, because we all know the reality of it is, we don't always know that these things take place because cities aren't liable for what homeowners who rent, we don't have any responsibility there. But we do have a responsibility if they are not, if they're being neglectful
Right.
to a certain degree, depending on what it is. The conversation, because the city is suing that particular company, and just trying to find ways, we all talk about how we want to change the rental base here to home ownership, so.
Yes.
May I, Madam Chair?
I think Ms. Clear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't ask for the floor, but thank you. The existing tool that we're using is called the Report a Concern button. It is already on the website. There are categories of concern types that already exist, such as fire extinguisher missing, unsanitary, unsafe conditions, property maintenance. There's various things in here. I think that if we're going to promote this, we should promote it as a tool that anyone in the city could use, regardless of whether they are a homeowner or a renter. I don't know that it would be a good communication to come out and say, hey, renters, now's your big chance. So I think that if we, as a tool, a communication tool between people who live here, and you call North College Hill home, that you can communicate with the city if there's concerns that we feel the city should look into or address. But those classifications are there, and there's a spot to elaborate if necessary.
Ms. Dewald, did you have something?
I just wanted to add that I had a conversation with Doug Ikens about a particular property.
And for the listening audience, who is Mr. Doug Ikens?
Oh, he's our code enforcement officer.
Okay.
And the property, the managers that you're referring to, Mayor, they now have a new person for us to talk to. Before, you would talk to that person and nothing would get done. And he gave them all the things that's wrong with that property, take care of it, and they were out within a week.
Nice.
So it was nice to see somebody, because the house was falling apart.
Oh, well, that's good.
So it's nice to see that we have a new person now. Please, I hope we still have that person. But, so things are, I think, looking better in that category. And I love the fact that there's that report of concern. I wasn't aware of that.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay, there's several dozen different types of concerns that can be noted. Those are just a few that I mentioned.
Okay. All right.
I am trying to, I was informed several months ago that there's legislation out there that could limit the amount of renters, but, or rental properties.
I have been searching high and low for that. I have not found
Found
it.
anything?
But if you can
I'm
point
still
me
looking
in
too.
the-
I knew you were looking into it
right,
for me
if
as
you
well.
point me in the direction of a sample, I will take it and run with it.
Well, that's the call I have out to the gentleman who told me about it, so
Okay.
I'm waiting for him to get back with me. That would be like game changing for
It,
us.
it would be, for sure.
You know.
Madam Chair, just
Uh,
one more
yes.
comment. I haven't been on the forum in a long time, but we,
The forum, what do you mean?
I mean, the service request form.
Oh, okay.
But we will need to update it for that particular area. I don't know if there's a space for what the mayor was saying, no heat, no water, mold on the ceiling. I don't know if,
Wouldn't that
I'll
be
have
the
to go
unsafe?
look at the form.
That would be the unsafe.
That's unsafe / unsanitary, or
Yeah.
say, utilities not functioning, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know if we can be so specific, because it gets hard to report on when you get really, really, really granular with stuff. So,
Yeah, okay, great, thank you. Okay. Facilities.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I certainly understand where the direction the city is trying to take an aggressive approach towards slumlords, for lack of a better term. I guess my concern with this is if the city has no jurisdiction to remedy the situation, I want to make very clear that the person reporting this has no expectation that the city can fix it then.
And
You
that's
know what I mean?
said.
It's
That's
that,
what I said.
I understand that you said that, but that is not, it is not on the website that way. So I need to make sure that it's very crystal clear on the website that certain things the city has no jurisdiction over.
And then even in some of those cases where there is no water, there is no heat, we still might not be able to help then. You would escalate it, yeah. You would just escalate it.
Escrow, is it escrow?
escalate like to the board of health.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the escrow account where you,
But you
But
have,
that's a
you would
filing.
have to get a lawyer involved before you start putting your water money into an escrow account,
okay.
or the renter would still be in
So
trouble.
every renter, that's not something they can file for themselves. Every renter has to get a lawyer if they want.
You're not talking into them.
No, actually, you don't.
I didn't think they did.
What you have to do, which this is not legal advice. But if you have a problem with your landlord, you have to give the landlord notice in writing of the issue or problem, and you need to send it by either certified or registered mail. Something with a receipt that you actually sent it to the landlord. You have to give them 30 days to abate whatever that is, and then you can go and put your rent into escrow. And you would need to go down to the Hamilton County Municipal Court to do that. But you absolutely have to give notice in writing first.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Not legal advice. I feel like I need to, just asterisks.
Closure.
You might be able to do that.
Okay, so any other goals?
And can we stay there for a second? So what is our plan with that? Like, is that something that Ms. Clear can make those modifications to the website? Do we need to do anything? What's the follow-through on that?
It seems like we would first have to get in touch with, I'm thinking Chief Fells and Chief Schran, because they are the code enforcement. I mean, they're controlling that website, as last I know. So that's what I would thought the next plan was.
Well,
I'm just making notes to myself to remember
if, okay, so if Ms.
I don't know
Clear,
when our next code enforcement meeting is.
well, okay, time out. If Ms. Clear can just go and adjust the website, then why can't we just kind of have some suggestions and we can just get it done instead of, having a bunch of meetings and
Overcomplicate.
committees and subcommittees and subcommittees and,
The thing is that I can adjust the website, but I'm not the process owner. So we would need to make sure that whoever's on the receiving end of these forms
I
is
see.
in the loop on what it is we're trying to achieve here.
Okay,
So
so
I
we
can
need to-
adjust anything you want, but I don't think that I should if the people who are managing that process are not aware of what
okay.
and why we're doing it.
That's what I was
okay,
saying.
all right, so so Mr. Ikens, is that who we need to reach out to, or we need to reach out to
I would,
Chief Fells?
I would start with his boss, which is Chief Fells.
Chief Fells, okay, that's what we'll do.
And I told them at CIC on Thursday that we did have a code enforcement meeting in December, but I think Chief Fells was there, but I hope I'm getting it right, Schran was not. So at that time, all we could do was just discuss issues, and that's what we did. So I haven't received any type of email for the next, not that we have to wait, but I haven't received an email for the next code enforcement meeting, and I was attending as a citizen.
Okay, so what I'm gonna add under an action item, I'm just gonna send an email to Chief Fells and Chief Schran about that process. That way we can just communicate that to Ms. Clear and we can get it done.
I can add that the next code enforcement meeting has been scheduled for the 30th, so next Monday
January, okay,
at 6 p.m.
okay.
Thank you.
I
in this
will
very
not-
room.
I will not be there, but,
Okay.
I will
Yes.
try to be there as a citizen.
yes.
I'm sorry, I was taking notes. What was that, January 30th?
What
6.
time?
6.
6 p.m. Send that to myself. Oh, I got it.
I will still send an email.
Yes,
Maybe
please.
they can talk about it at their meeting or,
Actually, they're putting together the agenda, so if you don't mind to copy Marjorie Anderson,
I will do that.
and she will add it to the agenda.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
don't get anything on that. I don't even know who they report to.
I will do that. Okay.
Believe it or not, I got it as a citizen. I got the email.
Did you?
Okay, any other, just, goals that anybody would like to see? And obviously, this is, obvious, as things come up, I'm more than happy to add anything to the agenda. I don't have a problem with that, so if anybody comes up with anything else, feel free. Okay, so old business. Is there any old business that anybody can think of? I feel like there was something at a recent city council meeting where somebody said, do you mind putting that on your agenda? And of course I said, I don't mind, but I can't find the note where I wrote that down, so.
It's funny you mention that because I wrote a note, and I knew I wrote it on my agenda, but it's not there, so maybe I dreamt that I wrote it on.
No, because I thought I wrote mine on my agenda as well, and I looked at my agenda and I didn't see a note. So I was like, well, I honestly, before I go back watching old meetings, which is the highlight of my life, if anyone can remember any old business.
Is this old business, because you mentioned it already, your council rules? Or is that
Council
some-
rules, yeah, that's one of our goals, like the rules, to review all of the rules.
I just had a question, because I'm just saying it.
Okay,
Committees is something called housing, is that new?
the what now?
Under your standing committees is something called housing?
That almost sounds like the thing that's under recreation.
Oh,
Is that the
oh,
thing
that's
under
that's in the
This-
copy of the rules that you're looking at,
It
right?
says 10.2 standing committees, and then, I must be missing a page. I am. I'm missing page 15. That's what it is.
Ah, okay.
Because housing is at the top of page 16 as a,
Ah, I see, okay.
okay, so it's actually,
You probably got an every other page thing.
So
Oh,
I have
just-
double, I
It's
can make a copy.
double-sided.
I just.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I've got it. I
Okay.
can make copies for everybody.
Yeah, the understanding committees, it starts with,
Okay,
budget and finance, then public safety, and then,
okay.
So you were asking about what?
It just says.
housing is.
Housing.
Yeah, that's under public safety.
Okay, okay. I'm like, did I miss something, miss a letter, is that a new committee?
Oh, yeah.
No, yep,
Right.
yep, I could see how that could be, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so we'll get that figured out. Any other old business that anybody can think of? Okay, what about new business?
Well, I think the mayor just addressed that, housing.
Yes, add yet another committee and for us to meet and have meetings about. And okay, well, I'm gonna say something to you all. Is there anyone who has a burning desire to be the chair of this committee? I don't want you to feel like I'm just kind of, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to step down or anything. I just wanted to know if there's somebody with a burning desire. Okay. Just, okay. Any other new business? I'm noticing all the crickets there. Everybody's kind of not like looking away in the other direction, like, no, Erica, I'm not interested in that. Okay. Okay, so for action items, I just have,
I'm sorry.
oh, yes, you have, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm sorry.
I didn't, it just hit me that this could be under new business. I cannot, because I'm looking at the title, and then I said it used to be called something else before it was Rules and Public Policy, where you talk about the agendas. I cannot find the motion and/or the legislation where you change the spending amount for the administration. I cannot find it. Does anybody, part of me thinks it was a motion, not necessarily a ordinance or a resolution.
Where we changed,
The charter has $75,000. Council, they would have had to do it, because if I'm not mistaken, per the charter, it has to be done by legislation,
Right.
not a motion. I cannot find, yeah, I think it was in between 16 and 17. I'm almost positive, where it was changed. I even looked through my documents from then. I can't find the
okay,
legislation.
well, I will, to that end, I kind of have an idea about, now mind you, I don't want to do it, but I have an idea about how we can possibly make those things easier to navigate on the website. So just,
Spend a few
Like-
hours on the website looking for it.
right, well, exactly. There's a way that we can make that easier to navigate, the, like, former, like, previous legislation kind of stuff, so probably we can add that to new business, maybe.
Okay.
Just some ideas. Okay. That way we can easily find what you're looking for. Do you know whether it was just for that year or just a permanent change?
I was under the impression it was a permanent change. I don't ever recall council ever passing anything just for a year.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And is that, I mean, can't you change the charter that way with a piece of legislation?
The charter says they can change it.
No.
They can make changes with them. Don't quote me. With with legislation.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess we will have to try to find that. So I'll add that to an action item. Find.
I put in 50,000. I want to say that it was 49,999. In my head, for some reason, I put that in. If we put in 75,000, when the 75,000 came up, it pulled up the charter. So that was there. But the 50, I remember it went back 55.
Okay, well, I'll take a look at it. I have, like I said, I have some ideas about how we can make that more user-friendly, but I'll see if I can find that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other new business items? Okay, hearing none. It's kind of very early, but we are, I'm all about efficiency, so I'm going to adjourn this meeting. It is 7:17 PM, and I will see you all back here, same place, at 7:30 for public safety.
If somebody's missing the top of that agenda, it's right here with the three.
Yeah, there was a jam.
Good evening and welcome to the North College Hill City Council Public Safety Committee meeting for today, Monday, January 23rd, 2023. So 1/23/23. Does everyone have a copy of the agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I put first on here goals for 2023, and obviously this is not exhaustive, but is there anything that anybody has a burning desire for us to get done? I'm going to start with something that can also fall under old business, but when I was driving through Clifton, I took a picture of these kind of speed bumps in the street, and they're just wide. They're wide enough such that if it's a fire truck going over the speed bump, they won't hit it at all. But a car will, based on the width of them, I believe.
What street was that?
It was on Clifton Avenue, I believe. Yep, so I actually took pictures of it. So I guess I can't send everybody a picture of it, but if you're interested, I can show you or I'll print them out or something. Yeah, that's not a good idea to send everybody a picture, but I'll print them out. It's just like a little, I was just thinking about it because that's a main drag.
Is it cement?
I seen it.
No, it's something obviously that you can put it down and lift up. And it's just big enough to slow people down. Yeah, for sure. And it's not wide enough that it's gonna cause problems for a fire truck. The fire truck will go right over it without, so if you go down Linton and then turn up, I think that's Clifton Avenue right there, after you turn left on Spring Grove and then right on Clifton, is that what that is? You go up to the top of that hill, the hill where you think like, why would anybody choose to live here? That hill. And then right there right before you get to those schools, there's some bumps in the street there. And there's like 4 of them, I think. And there's some lines right before you get to them, like in the street, to warn you that you're about to hit this bump.
Yep.
And you cannot go around it. Like, I've purposefully tried. And I think it's just wide enough that if you're in a car, you're gonna go over it, but a fire truck, because it's bigger, will miss it. So I thought, and that's Clifton Avenue, so that's a main drag. So I would be very comfortable putting that like up there on Galbraith, where we're having the problems with people, kind of doing their little, illegal maneuvers on Galbraith and flying down on Galbraith up there and Sundale and other streets where we seem to be having some issues. And this is not, like I said, this doesn't appear to be permanently attached to the street. It appears to be something that's kind of on the street.
Removable.
Yes, that's removable.
Madam Chair?
I'm confused.
If, another thing I saw, which was really funny, and I can't remember where it is, the 4-foot tall sign that says, slow at a crosswalk? Somewhere on Simpson, I saw it in the middle of the passing lane, and I said, wow. I said, if you're passing somebody, and maybe you shouldn't be in that center lane, I said, I've seen them scratched up and damaged on Ludlow Avenue where cars hit them, but if you hit that steel in the middle of the road, I said, it's going to do something to the front of your car. It won't stop you, but I'm sure it'll scratch up but I seen one of those in the middle of where people are passing, because Friday night I was going my usual 35 or 40 on Galbraith, and from Pippin, made a left on Pippin, come toward, and this car was on my, the tail of the car. By the time I got on Galbraith, they just passed me up, and I was driving, and I said, I hope they don't go 50 miles per hour through the main part of North College Hill. Because I made a left on Lois, and they were still going. But that thing in the center, that could mess up someone's car if they're illegally passing?
It's one on the corner of Grace and Galbraith, and then right there on, it's on Simpson. Right where the splash pad is supposed to go.
It won't stop you, but it'll tear up, I mean, it might do some damage to your car. I thought that was a smart move.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry, were you finished?
No, I'm finished. No, thank you.
So I guess I'm confused about the speed bumps that you're referring to, only from the perspective, I thought we wanted to put something out in the center to prevent the passing.
Yeah. we
But you're
could- we
saying that the fire trucks, do the fire trucks use that center lane?
I don't know whether they do or not. I just know that, you know, I like Ms. Blythe's idea also, but that would cause problems for our fire trucks, but these speed humps will not. But they will cause problems for people who are trying to go around, you know, and use that as a passing lane, because it is, you know, it clearly causes
I was unaware there was that much difference in the wheelbase of a fire truck versus cars.
apparently, yes.
The other thing that because I drive a similar direction, probably, I go down Hamilton versus go down Winton, and I'd cut over Lafayette.
Oh, okay.
They have put in huge speed bumps there, going up Lafayette Hill.
Oh, okay.
And there's
I
like
haven't seen
4 of
those.
them
Okay.
as
I'll
you
have
go
to
up
check
that
those out.
residential street.
Right. I'm starting to see more and more of them around the city, so I'll definitely go take a look at those. And I'm also starting to see more and more where, instead of, I don't know that we want to go this far, but now in College Hill on Hamilton, they've put parking meters so that there are no longer 2 lanes to coming across where they just built those new condo,
Right on the
whatever. Yes, there are parking meters coming from the corner going all the way down now that they just,
So it's one lane.
yes. So that, I think for that reason, probably to try to slow
Curb,
people, huh?
they changed the curb.
I don't know. I just noticed the parking meters because I noticed there were cars parked over there and I'm like, huh?
They did the same thing in Madisonville, and I asked that because they extended the curb
Oh,
in your
okay.
turn. So they pulled it out.
Oh, I see.
And then they took 2 lane and made parking.
They
And
did
on-
that
and
down
on-
in Northside, right, like 2 blocks up from Knowlton's Corner, right by that
Like
bank.
Hamilton and Bruce and,
Not by Bruce, it's down further. It's almost down by that, by the, where they just put in that new bar. What's it, some kind of wrap? I can't remember what the name of the
yeah.
place is.
And you
okay.
know,
Or is it Blue Rock? I think that's where Blue
That
Rock
is,
crosses.
yeah.
So it's
Yes.
1 block up from Blue Rock.
Okay.
and you know what
They
happened
extended
with,
the curb out
with
like
that?
you're talking about.
They extended the curb out at a crosswalk, and I happened to notice it, and then the next week, a car didn't notice it, and it rammed, and it stopped the car completely, and it was jammed up in the front. And the first thing I thought, I said, if they extended that curb out, to me, they should have dropped some type of yellow flashing light, because it was new. I saw it. I saw on the right and the left-hand
Yep.
side, right
Yep.
before the Blue Rock. But a car the following week, I mean, they were like, there was an accident because when they ran into the curb extending out, their car was tore up. And I was like, I wonder if they can sue for that, because to me, if you're gonna extend the curb out, look like they should have, I mean, they had a
Yeah, but-
crosswalk sign, but they should have alerted the driver that, hey, we
Some
did
type
this
of change in-
change, we did this
change.
change, some
Well,
type of signage.
But the problem is, of course, if you're going the speed limit that you're supposed to go, you have enough time to stop. Now, obviously, you can't stop at 40 miles an hour, but the speed limit is not 40, I believe.
It's 30 through there, I know it by
Right,
heart.
so-
They probably would have had time to changeover, but too bad for them.
I mean, it's just, you've gotta, and I, and again, I think that we're, the idea is, we need to think of some creative ways to get people to know and understand that the speed limit is always 25 miles per hour in the city of North College Hill, so, like,
Except when it's a school zone, that's 20.
then, right,
But I remember
Madam-
But
Mr.
Kim-
Mosby mentioned the rumbles, and I see what you mean. If you're just turning into your street, you're going slow, so the rumbles, but if you wanna pass someone up going 50 or 60 miles per hour, rumble strips in the center, that's what they get. I'm sorry. That's not a bad idea. I don't know how other people felt, but he mentioned that at a meeting several months ago, rumble strips in the
I
passing
like
lane.
the idea of the rumble strips.
right.
Yes.
And that's something.
We can make them play a song.
Right, right, that's something doable.
Yeah, that is doable. There, it's a problem everywhere because we see different communities trying to do something about it. Yeah.
And I did notice an accident actually on Hamilton right before you get to Walgreens where somebody was trying to, it looked like they were trying to go around and use that turn lane as a passing lane, but there are those little islands in there, and they were trying to, and they clearly, and they just drove right up onto the island, so,
Madam Chair,
yes.
in the regards of the humps, the speed humps that you're referring to, I'd be curious as how the police department gets their cruisers over that, because I'm sure Clifton would have that same issue.
Right.
It's just something to think about. And then also, when you were talking about the rumble strips, I'm not sure what the difference is between a rumble strip and a speed hump.
Have you ever gone down Hamilton Avenue?
It's
There's rumble strips on the double yellow line.
in the center,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
They're on the highway, I call them rumble
Yeah.
strips, on the highway too. If you,
Yep.
if you go over too far, zzz,
Yes,
Exactly.
And you drift,
and it's, those are like concrete.
they wake you up too
Yeah.
if you're dozing.
That's the reason.
I'm not guilty of that, but they do wake you up.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
okay, so, I, also, as a goal for our, public safety, committee, I just wanted to, maybe do more to kind of keep, updated on what the different departments are doing, so that we kind of can, I don't know, so figure out some kind of way where we can get an update from the different departments. Now, I usually get regular updates from Chief Fells because he's awesome. And I've actually started to get updates from Chief Schrand. So, hence this beautiful report that he actually provided. So,
Madam Chair,
yes.
if you're getting updates from Chief Fells, can you forward them? Because I don't think the rest of us are getting them.
Yes, I will do that. So I think the last update I got, he advised that he got another grant, of course.
a grant king.
Yes. So I didn't print that out. I just, when I was, it just slipped my mind, but, because I get them. But I will forward those to the rest of the committee.
Is there any type, do we want to create a document?
I don't want to create a document, but you are more than welcome to, I will support you in creating a document.
I'll pass.
Okay. Any other goals that anybody wants to, that jumps right out at you?
Not at the moment.
Okay. If anybody thinks of anything, feel free to let me know. Just shoot me an email on the North College Hill email. So the next item on our agenda is this police report for December 2022. And as you can see, it has the, just kind of the statistics for, just kind of their, he actually did a really good job, thank you, Chief Schran, of really including the exact information that I was looking for. So if there's something that somebody else is looking for, if you could please just let me know that, that would be great, and I'll make sure to pass that along. Okay.
This detailed, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it really is wonderful. Okay. So thank you very much, Chief Schran out there. I know you're watching. Or you will at some point. So fire department updates. I didn't print that out. Oh, no, wait, I skipped police department updates. So with the police department updates, the impound lot has been up and running since December 19th and actually made $1,400 in storage fees in the first month, with one car going through the affidavit process. They've also hired 2 police officers, and they're only down 1 full-time position currently. And he would like to have their swearing-in ceremony at the next council meeting. That's okay. So we'll make sure Mr. Graver adds that to the agenda and ask our mayor to kindly swear those 2 officers in. Looks like there's an officer, Bryson Hill, and Officer Madeline Erb. And I'm not going to be so presumptuous as to assume that I know the gender based on the names. So I'm gonna leave that alone. And that is the update that I received from the police department. With regard to the fire department, I believe the last message that I received from Chief Fells is that he applied for it and got another grant, the Grant King. So congratulations, Chief Fells. I don't have that specific information, but I'll make sure to include that when I'm doing the recap for our council meeting. Is there any old business other than traffic calming, which is, as if we can, once we get, people to stop speeding down through here, I mean, I think I'll be happy. I actually have some old business. Does anybody know the status of what I'm going to call the Monty Jones project?
I know that we had asked Chief Schran about it, and he investigated and found out that there had not been any type of contract or agreement written, and he was reaching out to, here, sorry, I was stalling while I was looking for the email.
No worries.
Can someone explain what the Monty Jones
The street
project
art,
is?
The alley painting.
Okay, for the public that are watching.
Oh, right. So Monty Jones actually submitted a proposal whereby they would paint artwork on certain alleys in North College Hill. And we all voted, we all thought it was a great idea, and we voted on those proposals. And so we, just kind of refer that to the city administrator at the time to kind of follow up and make that agreement with her, or I'm sorry, them. So I was just wondering what the status was, because I did not see them, I haven't seen them painting. So
according to the email that I have from Chief Schran, the contract had not been written. He asked if we could send him any type of documentation that we had so that he could give that to the law director, and he's having that written up.
Oh, wonderful.
I'll check with him now to see if that's been completed and if we can get it on the agenda. Well, I guess we don't
Wonderful.
need to get on the agenda. He just needs to sign it. Sorry. He just
Yeah.
needs to follow through.
Okay,
We've already done our part.
okay. And it's Chief Phil, so we know that will happen.
Madam
Nope,
Chair,
it's Chief Schran.
Oh, Chief Shren, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I do recall, when Monty was here, the swatches were given to Mr. Mosby, I believe, in order to give to Public Works to go purchase the paint in order to save money. So I'm not sure where that is.
And
I do remember that,
I did mention that to Chief Schran that
so I
we,
believe.
that was at least on the table, that we would purchase the paint to reduce the expense to the city. So I'll add that to this email
And the
too.
swatches and everything. I saw him walk out with them. But I know they're not in that office.
I'm surprised the contractor, has she?
Ms. Blythe, we need you to put the microphone right up to you.
I'm surprised the contractor for this job, has she reached out?
Have they reached out?
Have they reached out to check back with us? Is that why we're bringing this up?
No, they have not. I actually was going back through some notes from meetings last year to try to figure out like what was still hanging out there. Excuse me, and that was one of the things that was still kind of floating and hanging out there.
Interesting.
Does anyone else have any old business? Okay, new business. Does anyone have any new business for public safety? I have a question, Mayor. So how does it work, like, as far as the streets being cleaned and salted when there's a snow or what other weather event?
So, I guess I was under one particular assumption, that we watched weather and we see that and we know that it's coming. So I contacted Chief Schran to see if the trucks were out, when they were going out. He contacted Marty.
Marty?
I'm sorry. Ooh, I meant to say Braden. I do apologize. He contacted Braden, and Braden informed him that they called. I didn't even ask who they were, who they was. He said they called. So I'm going to say that it's probably OSHA or the county called them and said, this is where we are. This is what we're getting. Which gave them the directive to go out. They were already out when I contacted Chief Schran to make sure that they were out, to see if they were.
Okay.
I said, I haven't seen anything, haven't heard anything. All I'm hearing is the street. There's a mess up there right now. So, and they were out working, so I can find out who the they
Okay.
that called Braden. I'm not sure
Okay.
who that is.
Okay. And as far as I've seen a person, a man, it looked like a man, who was just kind of walking along Goodman Avenue picking up trash. Is there a person still, or what?
So, I've had that conversation with Chief Schran and with Braden. If they reassigned, then that's something that happened with them. I didn't get an update on it. I just told them initially that position was for someone to do trash, and if that's what one of those part-timers are here for, then that's what they need to do. I haven't seen anybody, so I don't know after that meeting if that's where they went with that. So I can't, I do know council did approve for that position, and they set the dollar amount for that position, and once it was vacated by the previous person, I don't know that they went in for the detailed of the position. But after that meeting, if you've seen someone, then he must have rearranged his staff.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
is this the part-time position that is only April through October?
I didn't realize that there was that position wasn't, didn't have a timeline on it. It was 2. I do remember when Ms. Long was here, she asked for a seasonal. And I believe that's the one gentleman, I can't think of his name. But then the other position that I was just referring to, that one was ongoing. That one wasn't seasonal.
Okay.
So the one seasonal was, I can't recall how many was asked for several years ago. Several years ago, it was 2?
Correct.
There's
Okay.
2 seasonal on the salary ordinance.
Okay. And then it was just the one position that council approved, was that 2 years ago? So then it would be 3 part-timers then. But I don't even think they filled the 2 seasonal.
Is there some kind of way we can, I don't know, I just think everything looks better when there's not a bunch of trash everywhere. It just gives it a better feel for me.
does.
Just, and if there's a person or individual who,
I think we would have more success because the amount is so low. It's, it's hard. I was even considering asking if it was somebody at the high school level who wouldn't mind, but they would have to be 18.
right?
That's a nice little part-time job for someone at the amount that's there now.
Right, and I really think that if we post that position, somebody will take advantage of that, especially if it's just a particular area of concern, like Goodman Avenue, Clover Nook.
And that's it.
Just kind of the main thoroughfares.
Yeah. Especially Goodman and Hamilton.
Right, because there's all those, I think it's because of the restaurants over there.
Because they
People
can't
just kinda
exceed the
throw-
1,500 hours per year, so that doesn't necessarily keep you right at 15 hours a week, 20 hours,
Right.
per week. As long as they don't, if you take that 15 and divide it by whatever, you can do it that way. I always try to say, can we just stay below 27, just to be safe, 25, 27. Just to be safe, and I think if, this isn't a committee for that, but it could be I think if the amount was a little more, we'd be more presentable. Or
okay.
someone would be more likely, because as an adult, I'm like, if you got family in today's economy, $13 an hour is not much.
Right,
That wouldn't
Okay.
be the job that you would try to support a family with.
Some people, that's all they have right now, though. I mean, you wouldn't, that would be the idea, but for some folk, that's it. That's the reality.
okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
on the topic of aesthetics and appearance, I'm going to bring up that word that kind of runs chills up our spine, and that's the street sweeper.
It not my spine. I think that,
If I could,
Could I ask my question first? So, I don't even know, is it appropriate for this committee to
I
talk
think
about
so,
that?
absolutely. It's public safety. That includes the police, fire, and public works, so.
Okay, so we have asked repeatedly for some kind of a schedule, or where is it? Do you think there's anybody that we can talk to or get that information for us, if we could have a schedule?
I think that, in all honesty, there is no schedule. I think, because when I've inquired about it, it's the manpower, and we don't.
And
So-
I understand that.
So I think what would be beneficial and what should happen is, we should ask that a schedule be set.
I have an idea.
So-
And I'm a little tongue-in-cheek, but not really. I think that we just buy an Apple AirTag and put it in the cab of the truck. That way we know where the thing is at all times. So
I
Right.
believe they do something similar for the city of Cincinnati snowplows.
I think so
They
too.
do that for all the city trucks,
Yes.
all their city
It's just,
trucks.
I mean,
Have,
Apple
Let's do that
AirTag.
for all our city trucks, and
so
all our
just-
city police cars, and
just-
all our
just
city
put it
fire
in there.
cars.
All their city trucks have trackers in them.
Yep.
Madam Chair, yes, it's been way too long that we don't have answers on this piece of equipment.
And I honestly, I don't believe that there is a regular schedule per se that you would look like on Monday is here, on third, or on the first Monday of the month, this in the southwest quadrant or whatever. I just honestly don't believe that there is a schedule, but I don't see an issue with asking Public Works, Mr. Reuter, to create a schedule.
Well,
Um,
I,
And that doesn't mean they can stick to it, it just depends.
you know what? I don't even think we even need to do that.
Priorities are.
We can just,
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's other things to be done.
Ms. Blythe, you have to put that microphone close to you because otherwise you cannot hear.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. What I was thinking was same thing is, if it's not a priority, then they could make a schedule, but if something more pressing comes up that they have to do or they're short-staffed, then it might not stay on the schedule. But I understand what you're saying is, there's so many other things that might take a top priority to what they have to do. It almost seems like they just use it when they find the time slots to use it, but they still have to do the notification, the sign notifications
That they're
to
gonna
the,
do
to the
it.
residents. So
Yeah.
I can kind of,
But not
So-
necessarily on a
They-
main street.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, I work from home. I have never seen this new street sweeper come down my street
Me either.
in the 2.5 years that we've owned it.
Okay, and again,
I-
this is a
so-
very easy fix,
It
ladies.
is, it is.
We put a tracker in that thing.
But
and,
the
you
other
know,
side, I appreciate that Ms. Bly said there should be a schedule, but then if something else pops up, I disagree with that. Because then it just keeps getting pushed off again.
That's what I was trying to say.
So,
but-
we need to have a schedule. We need a schedule created, and we need a schedule stuck to.
I think it goes back to as well, a few things. I agree, but I also know that every time someone quit Public Works, they were never rehired. So I was, in my investigation, I think there were like 8 folks in there. And when somebody retired or left, we never rehired that person. So now you're down to 4, 2, I believe, are retiring, from what I hear. I don't know how true that
Right,
is.
right.
So I think if you build that department back up, then you won't have, as many problems, because it's like you have 4 people doing the work of 8.
that's what I was kind of.
I'm sorry, I have to see more
Madam
work
Chair.
being done before I agree with that.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
On those same issues, when we leased to Mount Healthy, they had a schedule. They knew when Mount Healthy was going to use it. So it's very doable, and I love the idea of putting this tracker on here. But also, I had a conversation with an employee who no longer works here who said that there needs to be training on that. So if we don't have anybody trained to do it and it's still sitting back there,
I think,
just not happy with
How
that.
did Mount Healthy get trained then?
I-
How's Mount Healthy using it?
they used to.
Well, they used the
Didn't
old
Mount
one.
Healthy used to have one?
They don't have a contract. Do they have a contract with this one?
The new
That's
one.
right, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, according to Ron, because we never saw it.
There.
We never saw that either.
It is, there's one.
We had asked for a copy of that several times and have never seen that either. Would that be a possibility?
I can try to find it. I know, Mr. Cole showed it to me.
Well, I think that the schedule is probably step 2. Step 1, you put a tracker in that thing. And that way, we can just log on to our whatever and look, and we can see where it is at all times. I think that that's fair. I too, the street sweeper controversy, the great street sweeper debate.
I mean, the citizens paid for,
Oh,
what,
absolutely.
$180,000 piece of equipment that's
And we
collecting
never see.
mothballs.
Right.
And not only
Maybe, or we don't know where it is, do we?
that- No, we don't.
We assume it's in the garage. We don't know that.
Right. Well,
Just in the garage.
If we had a tracker, we would know exactly where it was.
There's always two sides to one story.
Right.
There's
Madam
always
Chair.
3 sides to every story.
Madam
Oh, yeah,
Chair,
yours
no.
and mine and the truth.
It-
You're
it would
right. I
solve
forgot about
another
that.
issue too, because cars are parked on the street for months and months and months on end. This
Yep.
would be for them to get that car off the street and move it somewhere else, to give their neighbors a break to park there. You know, so it's twofold. I'm finished, I swear.
I just think, it's a matter of asking for a schedule. I don't think one was ever created. The probably only schedule that was existed was to one with Mount Healthy. We know it's going to Mount Healthy on this day. And so I can say, I do believe when they first got it, I feel like I remember seeing signs up like in my area, no parking, street sweeping, but that was,
That's because they know where the mayor lives.
They know where the mayor lives, because it didn't happen over in my area.
listen, and I'm not trying to be funny, they really don't throw trash around. I mean, if they do, somebody's picking it up like really quick. Now, we got some new folk back there who think they're supposed to get to the corner of South Ridge and North Ridge and throw their food bag out of the car, and I'm fuming every time. So that's more so in the summer. In the winter, I don't see it too much.
I will
I
say
think we
that
pulled
my-
out the street sweeper for a North College Hill event or something like that during the
It
summer.
sat in the parking lot, remember?
Yeah, but it
It never
was,
moved.
Like
but
a
it was
big
pulled
lawn
out for an event or something to show
It was
people we
cleanup
had
day.
it. Thank you.
Cleanup
Well, it's
day.
cleanup day.
Yeah.
I knew we had pulled it
Well, I have a
That's how we
neighbor who
discovered
goes
we had
out
it.
faithfully. If there is trash on the street, she is out there picking it up and, sweeping it up and everything else, so,
We have a couple who walks and
yeah.
they pick up.
That happens in my neighborhood too. We walk our dogs and we have an extra bag. And my one neighbor is so dutiful about it. So, but there's one house, one that company had to come in and fix it. But, yeah.
Okay, any other new business?
One more thing comes to mind, but I'm sorry, again, I don't know whose committee it is.
It's okay.
But we were discussing cleanliness and how things look, and Mayor Nichols announced at CIC that we will be, I'm not who we is, install the new yard of the month or yard of the week for North College Hill
Oh, neat.
to encourage the citizens to clean up and upkeep and beautify their landscaping. So that's on our, she can elaborate. Thank you.
That's it. Just trying to implement that. I know that they had it before. Just trying to implement it again to, and then I think it's something we could do for businesses as well.
It's
Business.
probably community development,
Flowers your neighbor It
Yeah.
contagious.
I think that's community development and recreation, that's what I think the committee would probably be.
I'll write that down.
It sounds like a great idea. Okay, so any other new business? I'm sure that we'll get plenty of referrals and other items happening. Okay, so as far as action items, Ms. Zorb actually sent an email to Chief Shrand about Monty Jones, so we're gonna figure out what's going on there. And we're going to get an Apple AirTag. I'm being tongue in cheek, not necessarily that, for our street sweeper. So we can keep track of that street sweeper because it's just hiding out from us. Well, you can't hide from us, Mr. Street Sweeper.
Well,
How do you know
done a
it's a
pretty good
mister?
job.
Put a tag on
Okay, and anything else going once, going twice? I like it. Okay, so if with all minds being clear, I am going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting. It is 8:12 p.m. We'll see you all next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.